Good morning, everybody. We're just going to jump right into it. This is the first square we're going to be making in this series. So this is number 1, and I'm using Premier Basics yarn today. It is a 3-weight yarn, and it is calling for a 4mm hook. You can use whatever yarn you want. Bigger yarn, bigger hook is going to be a bigger square. And of course, the opposite is true. Smaller hook, smaller yarn, smaller square. This is a pretty simple square. There's only 3 rounds, so we're going to get going. Just so a disclaimer, I used a different yarn for this one, so colors are going to be different, but this is a Lion brand mini set of yarn, and I don't know if it's still on the market. Okay, let's get started. Round 1. Looks like they use 4 chains to make a circle. From there, they did 3 chains and then an additional chain in between the stitches. So these 3 chains are going to count for a double crochet. You've got a chain in between each of your double crochets. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 double crochets plus the chain that counts as 12. So this circle is going to be kind of based on 12s. Okay, let's get started. I'm going to start with yellow. 4 chains. I'm going to start with my slip knot. If you don't know how to do any of these stitches, there is tutorials for all of them on my channel. So just look back to the oldest videos. That's where they are. Okay, so we're going to do 4 chains to make our ring. 1, 2, 3, 4. Join with a slip stitch to the first chain, and then you have this little ring. We are going to build into the center of that ring. So this is where we are. Right here is this dot. This dot is our slip stitch. Now we're going to chain up 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 of these chains is going to count for a double crochet. 1. I'm just going to yarn under, guys. I try to, in videos, yarn over because I know that's what everybody does, but I'm a yarn under gal. Okay, so these 3 chains are counting as my double crochet. And this is the chain that's going in between the double crochets. So that's why we have 4. Okay, now we're going to double crochet into the circle. Okay, and then we chain 1. And we're going to do that all the way around until we have 12 of each. So here's number 2. Chain 1. Here's 3. Chain 1. Here's 4. Chain 1. And I am going to crochet right over my tail. 5. Chain 1. Here's 6. Chain 1. Here's 7. Chain 1. Oops, I forgot my chain. There's 8. Chain 1. Here's 9. Chain 1. 10. Chain 1. 11. Chain 1. And our initial 3 chains count as our number 12. So I'm going to count just to make sure I've got the right number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We chained 1, and now see where this dot is? That's our slip stitch. So we're going to slip stitch into the top of those 3 chains. 1, 2, 3. Slip stitch in, and that is the end of round 1. So now what I'm going to do is change colors. So let's trim off our end here. Pull it through nice and tight. Set it kind of to the side, and we will weave it in later. I think our next color is going to be pink. Now what we here are some treble crochet clusters. That's what these stitches are here. We are going to build these treble crochet clusters into the chain 1 spaces. These chains make a little space in between the stitches, and that's where we're going to insert our hooks. We're going to chain up with 3, and that's going to count as the first stitch in our treble crochet cluster. The last thing I'm going to say before we get started is that there are going to be 3 chains in between each of our clusters. And if you look at our sample, you can see these spaces. Those chains are what create those spaces. And you can see where we built into the chain 1 spaces. Okay, let's just get started. I'm gonna, again, start with a slip stitch. I'm going to insert my hook in one of the chain spaces. Attach my yarn to my hook and pull that through, and then I'm going to chain up 3. Pull that a little snug. Again, we're going to try to crochet over our ends. It does make it a little easier when you're weaving in later. So we're going to give that a try. So there's 1 chain, 2, 3 chains. 1, 2, 3, but we need 4, so let's do 4. Again, this is the first stitch to our treble crochet cluster. So the next, to do a treble crochet, we're wrapping twice, inserting our hook, pull up a loop, pull through 2, pull up a loop, pull through the next 2, and then we're going to stop there and start our next treble crochet. We're going to pull these all the way through together. So we're doing our second, well, it's technically our 3rd treble crochet because the chain counts as 1. Now we're going to stop there. You see we have 3 on the hook. I'm going to yarn over, and we're going to pull through all 3. And then we're going to do 3 chains, and that's going to complete our first treble crochet. And then we're going to do it again. The next one we're going to do is in this chain 1 space. The next chain 1 space, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do a treble crochet cluster. So treble crochets are very tall because we wrap them 2 times. Oh, and stop there. We're not going to complete it until we have all 3 of them on the hook. So now I have 2. This makes 3. And you see, I have my initial loop, and then I have the loops for all 3 treble crochets. I'm going to pull through all of them and chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Now that I've covered up these ends, I'm going to give them a little trim. Set them aside so that they'll maybe be out of the way a little bit. Okay, let's go on with the next one. Okay, so there's 1 treble crochet. Oops. Yeah, that tail is going to be fiddly. Come on now. To train them. To to train him like a puppy dog. Okay. All right, there's my 2 treble crochets. Wrap twice. Let's go in for another. All right, there's my 3 treble crochets plus my start, my loop from my last chain. And now we're going to pull through all 3. And I'm going to chain 3. And I'm going to continue to do that all the way around, putting in the 3 double crochet cluster in each of my chain 1 spaces. And I'm going to meet you when I start my last one. And I'll see you in a few minutes. All right, so I have made it almost all the way around. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 of my treble crochet clusters. I have chained my 3, and so I need to make my last treble crochet cluster here in my last chain 1 space. So I'm going to finish this up. Do love these colors. Okay, pull through all of those to complete my cluster. And now I see I am here. This is where I just finished. I'm going to do 1, 2, 3 chains and then slip stitch at the dot. See, the dot is a slip stitch. And I'm going to count up my chain 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, and join with a slip stitch at the top of my chain 3. Tie that off and start round 3. Isn't that pretty? Now round 3 is where we make our square. And it seems kind of interesting. How do you make your circle into a square? So what we're going to do is we're going to chain up 3, and we're going to do treble crochet. These are not a cluster. These are just stitches that are all in the same space. We're going to complete each individual stitch. We're not pulling them all together like we did with the clusters, and that's why these have such a different shape to them. So if you look here, you'll notice that on the sides we're doing double crochets, but on the corners we're doing treble crochets, and that's kind of what is balancing it out. We have to make some of these stitches longer so that we can make it into a square. Okay, so we're going to get started. I'm going to use blue for my last round. Initially I used green, and they used green. So I'm going to go ahead and use blue, because why not? I love a lot of color. I am looking at my chart here, and this is where I finished up. This is my slip stitch where I joined. So I am going to join over to the left of that stitch, which is going to be right here. Honestly, you could probably join anywhere, but this is where it's indicating, so I'm just going to follow the directions. We're going to chain up 3 and start our double crochets. So insert my hook, try to keep my tail down there so we can cover it. I'm gonna, hold that tail down, pull this through, and join with my slip stitch. I've got these 2 tails. I'm going to try to cover them. It's kind of tricky. You just kind of have to hold it down. It comes with experience, so if you're not able to do it, don't worry about it. You can weave in your ends later. It's not a big deal. Okay, so I'm going to chain up 2 more because I've already got 2 chains on my hook. That's another thing. When I do double crochets, my stitches tend to not be 3 chains long, so sometimes I do just chain up 2, just because it makes it more even. Again, that's something you learn with experience. Okay, that sounds very pompous. With your own experience, I should say. you know, you get to know your own crochet. All right, so we've got my 3 chains which equal 1 double crochet, and then I'm going to add 2 more into this chain space. So here's 1 double crochet, and you can kind of see, you see here's my double crochet stitch and here's the 3 chains, and it looks funny, right? It looks kind of wonky. So I'm actually going to take out one of those chains just to make it even for me. Okay, so a double crochet, you see I completed that double crochet because it's not a cluster, it's just a group of them. Here's 1 more double crochet. Okay, so we have 3 double crochets in our first chain 3 space. I'm going to chain 1 and do it again. So here's my chain 1, and I'm going to go into my next chain 3 space and do 3 more double crochets. So here's 1. Wow, pulling all the tails in. There's 1. There's 2. And there's 3. So now I'm here. The next spot I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to do my corner. So I'm going to work 3 treble crochets, 3 chains, and 3 treble crochets all into that same chain 3 space. So here's my chain. Here's my first double crochet, treble crochet, excuse me. And this time we are going to finish these treble crochets. So there's 1. There's 2. There's 3. Now to make our corner, we're going to do 3 chains in between them. 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to do 3 more treble crochets into that same chain 3 space. So here's 1. Here's 2. And here's number 3. So you see how that made a corner? It's pretty cool, really. So now we're working down the side. We're doing the same as we did at the top. We're doing a chain, 3 double crochets, chain, 3 double crochets, and then another corner. It's very mathematical crochet, and often very symmetrical too, which is probably one of the reasons I like it. So there's our first set of double crochets, our chain 1, our next set of double crochets, and now that we've done 2, we are back at a corner. So we're going to chain 1, treble crochet, two treble crochets, three treble crochets, chain 3, one treble, whoops, I almost did a double, one treble crochet, two treble crochet, and 3 treble crochet. Now we're working another side. So chain 1, double crochet, 2 double crochet, 3 double crochet, chain 1, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, 3 double crochet, chain 1, we're back to a corner, 1 treble crochet. Forgive me if I'm mixing up my words. I can't remember if I said double or treble. 2 treble crochet, 3 treble crochet. Let me start that one again. Sometimes things get a little tangled on your hook, and it's okay just to undo it, redo it. Chain 3, 1 treble crochet, 2 treble crochet. There we go. That was a challenging one. And 3 treble crochet to finish this corner. Now we're going to finish the last side. So chain 1, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, 3 double crochet, chain 1, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, all right, here's our 3rd treble crochet, chain 1, and now we're getting ready for our last corner. So treble crochet, 1, 2, 3, and now we need 3 chains in between. 1, 2, 3, 1 treble crochet, 2 treble crochet, 3 treble crochet. But our tail is really bumping up there. We're just going to give that a little tug. And let's take a look at what we do last. This is our last. We do 1 chain and 1 slip stitch right here at the top of the first chain 3, or in my case chain 2. So there's our chain 1, and then we're going to go to the top of our chain here, and we are going to join with a slip stitch. Sometimes you have to use the hook part of your hook to get in there. There we go. Join with a slip stitch, pulling that through and tightening it down, snipping off that end, and that is it. That is our first square. Again, we do have some ends on the back that we'll have to weave in. But otherwise, our square is done, and isn't it so cute? I love that. So this was the one I did with my Lion brand minis, and this is the one I've done with my Premier. They're kind of minis too, but I love that. It's so pretty. It looks, this one always looks like a sunshine to me. Okay, I'll see you next time for another square. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that demonstration. This card came from this set called the Granny Square Flowers card deck. This was a project, it's published by Search Press. However, this is by Claire Montgomery, and I love this idea. I do not want to discourage you from going out and buying this, because this is great. It also is a really good way to learn how to read charts. And what I'm doing here are just demonstrations. So if you've bought this and maybe you're struggling to figure out how to use the deck, yeah, come along with me and we'll do it together. She also has another set that's just called the Granny Square card deck, and I will be owning that soon as well. Can't recommend these highly enough. They're just so much fun. And when you're done, you'll have 50 squares, or you can make, you know, as many as you want of each individual square. There's so many projects you can do with these. So highly recommend going out and getting your own set of the Granny Square Flowers card deck. And then you can come back and crochet all of them with me. That would be a lot of fun. Okay, guys, I'll see you later. Bye-bye.